my purpose really for today was just to share my journey. Howard knows a bit of this because I shared a bit at the family retreat we had in January. I feel like there's been more water under the bridge since that time. But yeah, I've been on a big journey thanks to this book, the YouTube Formula. This was recommended by the folk at Off the Left Eye. They felt that it was really valuable, and it has been quite good. Howard, you've been reading this as well, haven't you, mate?
Yep.
What's your sense of it, and have you picked stuff up from here that is worth sharing?
Well, not off the top of my head.
Mm.
You know, I think the frustration, yeah, I will just note that in the midst of my transition, it's everything I can do to keep up with just trying to generate content. So going down the rabbit hole of exactly what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, and changing what I'm doing at this point is not something, but it's not something I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah, because I mean, you're also facing the fact that you've got a move coming up and settling into a new society and a new role and all that kind of stuff. So
that's what I'm talking about. I'm trying to build enough content that I don't actually experience a break.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's going to be possible, but we can all have goals, right?
How much content would that be? How many, like, are we talking months of content?
I'd like to get 2 months ahead of it.
Yeah.
Right now I'm about 6 weeks ahead.
Okay.
Which isn't bad, but there's a lot of stuff going on, and we're headed to the new society for much of the month of April for a visit. And that's going to put me on my back foot. So I'm trying to get a bunch of stuff. I'm trying to basically clear through May so that when I come back in May, I can focus on just hitting it, and then we'll be leaving in June. So
where are you going?
I am headed to the Washington New Church, which is outside of Washington, D.C.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to be working.
Is that a good
idea? It is. It's an idea.
Okay.
I'll be assistant pastor to Mac Frazier, but the role of the assistant pastor there is principal of their elementary school.
Well,
which is it undeniably is probably my highest and best use.
Congratulations! I hope it goes well for you.
Thanks. The biggest payoff is it puts us about 3 hours from our hometown, and that puts us 3 hours from our daughter. So we've have not lived near our daughter since we left the U.S., and that was almost 14 years ago. So
nice.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. So there's a lot of valuable content and material in there. And I have read through it, but I didn't study through it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I have to go back and decide which elements of the book are useful.
Yeah. Yeah. So, have you seen Chris Dunn's notes on this?
I'm not recalling whether or not.
Okay, maybe I'll send that out because I know I've got it.
Yeah.
And I've actually dropped it in one of the knowledge files of my AI. So that's kind of how I access it.
Brilliant.
Through that. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
I'll send it out.
Yeah, that'd be very helpful.
Yeah. Jack, can I ask, have you got a headset you could use, mate?
Is there noise coming through?
Yeah, I'm getting an echo, and I think it looks like it's coming from you. Do you have a headset?
Probably find one somewhere, David. Yeah, What if I put mine in mute and see if the noise changes?
Yeah, okay. Just while you're listening, and then if you've got a comment, then feel free to unmute again. Just because there was something going on, it did seem to be Jack's microphone. Makes it a bit easier, I think. That's sounding better to me already. You're still there, aren't you, Jack?
Yeah, I'll keep it off then, because I think it was I think my headset's in the shed. It would take quite a while to dig it out.
Yeah. Well, if you just sit on mute and then pop your mic back on if you've got any questions. So look, I wrote a couple of pages just sort of sharing my my process, which I sent to Chris, and I think Howard, you've seen it. But I'm basically going to read it just because it's the easiest way for me to recall it and the most efficient way for me to recall it. So really a lot of this starts around Christmas time. So I had launched my new channel, which I'll talk about probably the beginning of December. As we were approaching Christmas, I got this thing called human metapneumovirus, which meant that, you know, it wasn't COVID, but it was something which my family didn't want to get. So at Christmas Day, instead of hosting 13, became 5 of us in the house, with me isolating in a bedroom. And that led me to think, oh, well, what can I do while I'm sitting here doing nothing? And I ended up on YouTube doing some research and stuff. So this is the story of that. I'll read through it and give you a sense of where it's going. So I recorded, so this is writing on Boxing Day, 26th of December. I recorded several videos a week or two ago, having decided it was time to commit to fully editing in Descript. By the end of the week, I had 4 videos prepped and ready to go live over the course of the next few weeks. Ellen as my AI engine. Ellen and I have been experimenting with using Descript's Underlord engine to do some transitions and animations and working out that these needed to be done in stages. Basically, I ended up with this prompt as long as your arm, and it was too big for Underlord to cope with. I was pretty happy with these videos, except that in 3 or 4, I'd misread the channel name. Turns out our third space trips off the tongue more easily than our third place does. But at the time, I let it slide and went on planning for Christmas services, which was my most pressing need. Fast forward to my Christmas Eve entertainment. I'm sitting in bed watching Marques Brownlee's Every Mistake I Made in 2025. Does everybody know Marques Brownlee? No, I'll show up. He's one of these YouTubers who has millions of followers, and is everybody like so I watch his often auto content, like reviews of cars and such. So he detailed his QC process, quality control, before descending into a ridiculous level of focus, picking over every minutiae, and then he makes an on-screen commitment. No doubt mistakes will continue to happen, but he promises to do better. So I've realized I've got to go and fix those problems with my 3 videos, starting with the one due to be released tomorrow, Christmas Day. Between this and watching my Nisha videos, Ellen and I came up with our 7-step process timeline. So I just feel it. So Nisha is another content producer that I watch. She is in the financial space. She's an English financial educator, and her videos are they're just easy to watch. They just suck you in. And, you know, for finance is dry content, right? So, but boy, does she make it washable. So between watching Marques Brownlee and watching Nisha, I sort of got inspired. Then I think let's check out the titles and thumbnails too. Any improvements here? I've been reading the YouTube formula alongside of all this. In the content chapter, I've been particularly struck by Mr. Beast 50-character titles and the challenge of describing the video in a single sentence. So I then start reviewing titles and thumbnails. The other video I've had on my radar to watch was Nisha's latest. If I started investing in 2026, this is what I'd do. I mentioned before that I've been really inspired by Nisha's education videos. I'd put money on the fact that she uses Descript ahead of material. At the same time, as watching this video, I thought I'd look at how often she uses visual interrupts, that is on-screen text, animations, etc. So I took a screenshot of every occurrence, put those screenshots in a folder and fed the data to Ellen. And it came down within an 18-minute video, I took 77 screenshots, averaging 1 every 15 seconds. So let me just share the table with you that I've created so you can see. It's this one. So table, just a summary. So Nisha is my finance education person. She had this long 18-minute video, and every 15 seconds she's got something pops up on screen or something changes. So she used B-roll, she used chapter headings, she uses charts, she uses images, on-screen text 39 times. She mentions social platforms, web pages and research, like a screenshot comes up and she underlines stuff or she circles stuff. And then she did a workshop promo. So I worked on putting some of this into practice with my 5 signs you need to deconstruct. Is your faith rented? And that was due for release on the 1st of January. I noted that vidIQ gave me a 5% score increase just for spelling the word 5 in the title, rather than having the number. That's actually against what the YouTube formula says. The YouTube formula says put the number anyway. And look, so this, can you see that? Is that big enough to see? This was my channel data on Boxing Day, 26th of December. So basically, this is my views column. And essentially, I'd been talking about views in single digits with the new channel, which kind of, I suppose, is not surprising, but it was a bit frustrating because I'd spent a lot of time putting together this content and it was going nowhere. I had one video that had got to 20. And that was 4 things we can know about God without reading the Bible. So more people had watched that, but still it's not a great number. And then just again, analyzing the video, the big problem I see with is the start of the video. Ellen had written this lovely descriptive piece, which kind of makes sense if you know the script ahead of time, but anyone coming at it fresh would think it's a video about separation or divorce. So back to Descript, and again, the fix is simple. Bring the statement about the content to the very front. While I'm there, I may as well make the video a bit more niche, that is putting in more visual prompts and stuff, and we do a big revision. A lot of it is done within Descript. One particular section, an animated table, seems too complex for Descript's underlord, and Canva can't do it either, so I resort to creating the animations manually in Keynote. That's Apple Mac's PowerPoint presentation. The old way I used to do things. By the end of Christmas Day, I finished and uploaded it ready for release. And I've got 2 versions of the video, which we can watch if you want to, but I think it's probably too much info. So my Christmas takeaways was the 50-character title, the single sentence test. In other words, this is Mr. Beast. Can you describe the purpose of the video in a single sentence? Delivering on the title and the thumbnail promise immediately. That comes out of Nisha. So she will do this thing, you know, you look at the thumbnail, you see what the title is, and straight away she tells you exactly what she's going to deliver in the video, and then she goes on to actually do it. The visual interrupts, ideally every 15 to 20 seconds. Clear chapters, ticking off the promises offered at the outset, and quality control. So one of the things I do here now is that I'll create a video, I'll edit it, I'll get it basically ready to publish, and then I'll walk away for a day or 2. and then I'll come back to it, look at it again with fresh eyes, you know, having processed a lot of other stuff, and I think, oh, this needs changing, that needs changing, and at that point I'm happy to upload it. So that's kind of where, that's really where I ended up after Christmas Day. And then I said, I'm left with this sense of a huge amount of work this represents. I'll need to be working on several videos simultaneously. Recording in batches like I did the other week is okay. It's the script writing and then the post-production that is going to take the most significant amount of time. I'll have to discuss next day or two. Further to what I wrote before, there have been further developments. The new niche version of my Christmas Day video isn't doing anything. That's a topic for conversation in itself. The book says pivot with the feedback, but I'll be spinning on the spot from what I can see for no benefit, simply because I'm getting no feedback. I'm getting no views. So the Mr. Beast thing and the YouTube formula sense of going and looking at the feedback is great if you're getting feedback, but I was getting none. So today, Sunday, 28th of December, with an open agenda, I sat down with Alan and tried to make further sense of where we've been, having just finished the revision of the Snow Queen video, another video I produced. I wanted to see what I could learn from the process. We compared the script I recorded with the transcript of the latest version, extracting the essential structure and key features. We then compared that with the other videos we tackled in the last few days, and we landed on a basic 3-part structure with a central content portion of the video swapping modes depending upon their relevance to each particular topic. I then asked Ellen to scout out other modes, and she came back with a total of 7. So basically, think about a video structure which is 3 parts: introduction, the body, and then the conclusion. And the body might be one of these 7 modes of ways of working, or what I'm trying to achieve in the course of the video. So we talked about the story, the contrast, the list, so where, you know, it's 5 things you can know about God, the decode, the deep dive, the tool bag, and the mailbag. So those are the kind of content types we were talking about. So, oh boy, there's a lot of information here. You can see I've been on a roller coaster ride. I mean, to me, just reading through this now, I think, gosh, this doesn't make a lot of sense. But, you know, there was just such a lot of stuff going on. Ask me questions, just because I think that's my most constructive thing to do right now. What do you need to know, or to sort of tease out where I've been in that wild process that I've just read?
Okay, I have one. Do they give you, for this 50-word, is it 50-word max or 50 words?
It's 50 characters
50
title.
characters.
A 50-character title, yeah. So it's
Okay.
really short.
But do you get a... They taught me something similar in screenwriting class, and it's called log lines, and it's saying the central conflict of your movie in one sentence. So,
Yep.
but it always has a format that's something like adjective protagonist struggles to do a thing, but is, you know, thwarted by an antagonist or something. So, like, you know that no matter what you're trying to explain, it's always going to go in that format. And I find that is tremendously helpful. And it has helped me. It has helped me do excerpted inspirations posts, which are our little blog posts of quotes that my friend Linda finds. And sometimes I have to describe them. You know, like in this week's inspiration, I can't. I'm trying to remember one in specific. A heroine has to make a decision, make a decision about whether she will become a pirate,
Okay.
but struggles to evade the authorities or something. So
yeah.
that would be you know, if you have something like that where you know it's going to be subject, you know, as adjective, subject, whatever. And then the only exception is when there's something about the setting that is unusual. So, and then you might start with your ridiculous movie intro trailer in a world where something that isn't happening in the real world is happening. A young heroine struggles to overcome her stepfamily's resistance and become a pirate.
So the YouTube formula doesn't give you a template like that. It just says a 50 character title. That's what he aims at. I'll have to go back and look and just check, but I don't think there is. Jack, remember, you'll need to unmute.
Yeah, I did wonder. You mentioned every 15 seconds they change what they're doing. I take it, I presume that's to do with attention span things.
Yes, quite right.
Did you get the sense that that was based on just one person's experience, or was it a kind of more general research issue?
Look, I just looked at, I watched a number of Nisha's videos, and I just find what she does really engaging. And so I thought, you know, and I know, you know, the book talks about attention span. And so I think, well, that's, you know, that's really one way. And a visual interrupt might be as simple as the camera zooms in suddenly, or it pans in slowly or pans out slowly. You can see that kind of thing happening on a number of creators' videos. So it might be as simple as that. What I show you, I'm just going to bring up my Descript, and I'll show you what a timeline looks like on my videos now, because it'll give you a sense of what I've got going on. So if I pull up a project, let's go. Well, this is one that's gone this week. And so while this is loading up, the other thing that I'll say is what's happened since all of that's gone on is I released a video. This is going back a couple of weeks now, which was called Deconstructing Hell, and it went nuts. I had a lot of people. I had I'm approaching 4,000 views now. So if you look at the timeline down the bottom, in a 6-minute video, these are all the different elements that are happening. So whilst I've got some gaps, so this gap here, for example, that's 3 minutes 50 through to, I've got that's half a minute where nothing happens, but that's relatively, you know, there's maybe that's a slightly shorter, but there's stuff going on through the video. I'm trying to ramp up the number of elements that pop up on a video. So sometimes it's I'll pull this down so you can see it. You know, in this case, that's a quote. I've obviously pulled that off of New Christian Bible Study. So that kind of stuff goes up, or there'll be oh, you can't see it. Oh, it's taking its time to load. That's what it is. Yeah, but there'll be B-roll footage. There'll be that kind of thing where I put, you know, Mr. Swedenborg up there and the quote and that sort of, and those quotes are animated, that kind of thing. So there's just a lot more activity happening on screen. So then, yeah, let me just show you. So now if I pull that out, sorry, I'm going to share a different tab. So in terms of the action, what's taking place at the moment, so my numbers, my viewer numbers have gone up significantly. So the video that took off was this one, Deconstructing Hell. It's had, so it's approaching 4,000 views now. It's still climbing. The video that followed these ones haven't been so successful, but still we're not talking about single digits anymore. We're up into the high double digits, which is nice to be back there. And the other crazy thing that happened is if I go backwards in the catalog, so people were watching the previous videos off the back of watching Deconstructing Hell. So these ones here were all, as I say, single digits or maybe double digits. Here's the one. Was it that one? Yeah, it was this one. 4 things we can know about God without reading the Bible. That one achieved 20 before, and then it jumped up to what is it now? 200 odd, 254. So a lot of people went and watched that one as a second one off the back of Deconstructing Hell. So one of the things I think about that is that it makes me realize it's worth your while having build up a back catalog. So it's not just about having your first video go boom. It's about having a couple of videos there that are ready to go, waiting for, and people will go back and watch, and then they, and then they watched quite a number. So Jack?
Yeah, I read once that, and I tried some of this myself. You can put something into AI and ask AI to reverse engineer it.
Yeah. And
I just wondered if you could do that and then ask it to give you an analysis of what might have been the thing that triggered the sort of viral spread of your video.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'll just share something else. So I'll share a process that I've developed in the course of all of this. This is now my content creation schedule. So we start off with recon and validation. So one of the things Chris Dunn is at Swedenborg Foundation. He suggested I spend time in YouTube looking for videos, or looking for titles of videos that are have high viewership, high viewer interaction, but from channels that have a relatively low number of subscribers, because they are the videos that have it's not the subscriber count, because you get someone like Marques Brownlee, you get someone like Nisha, or in my space, CJ Cornthwaite, the big creators. People watch their videos just because they're big creators. So if you're looking for those videos that are a low subscriber base, but they're getting high engagement, they're the ones that you want to emulate. And you see it happen. Like Nisha, as an example, she did a video very recently on quiet wealth. The people who are rich, but you wouldn't know it straight away, and what their habits are. And I watched that because I watch a lot of her stuff. But then it was interesting to see that a lot of other people had done exactly the same video, almost identical title, both after her but also before her. So this is one that she'd picked up and run with, because it was obviously an interesting title, an interesting idea. So Chris Dunn wants me to spend time on YouTube. He says a couple of minutes a day, and I think, boy, a couple of minutes a day. I wish I had a couple of minutes a day to do that. The other place I've done my recon is Reddit. I went on the Exvangelical forum at Reddit, and that's where I came up with the hell concept. And the Deconstructing Hell video came directly out of that. So that's a really good place to go to find recon. So that's my first phase of video creation. Second phase, the packaging. That's thinking about what the title and thumbnail are as per the YouTube formula. Then scripting it. And so I have my ideas, my notes, I drop it into Alan, get Alan to generate a script. I read through the script, modify the script. You bounce it back and forward between me and Alan and get it right. Then there's the recording, and recording takes not long, because you've got your script. You sit there and you read it. You might have to read it another time, but it doesn't take very long at all. And then there's the post-production. So I get Ellen to generate a prompt for the AI, a Descript, in terms of what the B-roll might be, where the chapter titles are, what the text and the other stuff might be, and then I process it through Descript. The quality control, this is where, so I get it basically published ready, and then I walk away for a day, 2 days, and then come back to it and see if there's anything that needs changing, and then put it out there. One of the other things that I've done is with my B-roll footage, I've decided to use a theme. So I had a video, if I go back, if I go back here, can I go back here? Yeah. I had a video that I did, this one, Stop Serving God. So the second one. And what I did was, just because the B-roll happened to fit, I went with a musical theme. So all my B-roll was musical in some way. It was people performing, and it was just a really interesting way of telling a story. And that for me fits in really nicely with the idea of correspondences. So when I then go to, actually I'll do it in Descript. I'll share this one. So with the Is God a Monster video, with this one, the B-roll that I chose was all about the weather. And so we went from the stormy God to the sunshine, basically through the course of the video. So, and I say, it lets me use correspondences as a basic kind of a framework to explore this idea that I'm working with in the video. And look, I'm left with this impression of something that could take me an incredibly long time to produce a video. So I've ended up basically with a monthly cycle now, where over the course of a month I'll try to script 4 or 5 videos, and then I will record them all together on a single day, and then I'll spend the time after that with the post-production process, and then honing the title and honing the thumbnail. So then I end up in a situation where I am now, where if I go back to here to my channel content, so the latest video that went was deconstructing the monster god. And then I've got 3 more videos that are waiting to go out. And in this week coming, or this that we're in right now, is my recording week. So my intention on later in the week will be to have the scripts that I'm still working on recorded, and then I can kick into my post-production phase. And that's kind of where I've got to with my process at the moment. Yeah, it's been a ride. It's been a crazy ride. I don't know how well I've communicated that, but it's just been yeah, it's been really nuts where I've been since Christmas. But I feel like I've settled into a rhythm now, and I've got an idea of what I'm trying to achieve. Descript has been, it's been interesting to learn that. I feel like I've got more into a rhythm of using Descript and understanding its foibles and the power of it. So yeah, that's been the process. Any thoughts, questions, insights for me?
I just wanted to say I also have had some frustration with Underlord. As AIs go, he's not my favorite.
Okay, what's your particular problem with him, Lisa?
Sometimes like I will tell him to, or actually, I don't know if Underlord identifies as a he. It might be an it. I will tell Underlord to do something, and then it will do it wrong, and I will say, undo that, and the undoing is not complete. So that's been the main thing. And then what inevitably happens is I throw up my hands trying to get Underlord to do what I want, and I restart the project, and that just seems to take me a long time. I do appreciate the one thing Descript does, I would say, better than, well, nothing else I have is doing it right now, is getting rid of those pesky ums and uhs and long pauses and stuff like that, which happen all the time because, of course, our videos are the brunch videos are not from a script. They're from a person giving like an extemporaneous speech. Sometimes it's prepared, but they rarely read it. They usually just start talking, and so the speech is full of little annoying things that, like, if you hear it just a little bit, it's okay, but once somebody said like or the fourth or fifth time, it like, bleh, you want to take it out.
Sure. Yeah.
So I find script is super great at that.
So one of the things I went to, and I think it was my God, the Ultimate YouTuber video that I was trying to work on while I was learning Descript, while I was going through this process. I got to the point where I got Underlord to do something, and it kind of did it, but kind of didn't. But in the process, it also undid a lot of the work I'd already done. And I was tearing my hair out, what little hair I have at the time. And what I came to, actually, and I don't know whether you're aware of it, I'll just show you. So at the top up here, you've got the type, you've got the project. This is the project name, and this is the so what I did was I'd go over here. Would I do it here? Where would I do it?
Just save it as a new project a lot.
I would save it as a copy. I would copy exactly where I'd got to, and then I'd go back, and then I'd go back and I'd change. Then I'd give it a new instruction. But I had a copy to make, in case it all fell apart. And that's generally speaking worked for me. I haven't had anything fall apart quite so dramatically as it did for this video. But that gave me a lot of peace of mind. And the other thing I do to say, when I got Alan to write me a prompt for Descript, it was a really long prompt, and I learned pretty quickly that, oh, hi Jack, you dropped out, mate.
Oh, sorry about that.
That's all right. I learned pretty quickly that it was overwhelmed by this huge prompt with like 4 or 5 steps in it. So in the end, I had to break up the prompt into sections. And there were some things it actually did very naturally itself anyway. So as an example, one of the stages in my prompt that Alan suggested was get it to set these chapters. And in the end, I learned, actually, if you've got the script under law, you don't even need to tell it. Like Alan doesn't need to tell it what the chapters are. It works out what the chapters are quite well for itself anyway. And they just fit. So I just went to underload and so, right, put chapter headings in. And that's the first thing I do. And it does it. It just knows, it has a sense of what it should be.
Nice.
So yeah, it's baby steps. That's the thing with it. It is baby steps. You got to remember, I think, with all of the AIs, that they are not a fully functioning adult human. You cannot make assumptions about the knowledge that it has. You really, it's Howard, you've talked about, working with an intern. I would say a teenage intern, and you've got your understanding of what your AI is capable of. So yeah.
I will say ChatGPT knows more Swedenborgian terminology than I ever expected it to. Like,
Okay.
I can get it to write, I mainly get it to write like songs because I'm trying to have things to like put it the intro and the outro. But I can tell it to write me a poem or something, and then I put that in Suno, which is a different AI that turns a poem into a music. But I'm surprised by the extent to which it's pretty good at putting things in a Swedenborgian like if you tell it I want a Swedenborgian hymn to a to the greatness of fatherhood or something, like it will make that for you in words that include the word conjugal or something that like only Swedenborgians are using. So I think it does have more of a general churchish flavor, but I wonder what could it have been trained on.
Sure.
Lisa, you can thank me because I've spent 4 years training ChatGPT, all from a general church perspective, true Swedenborgian doctrine.
Oh,
and
okay.
I only say as half tongue in cheek. I've got this little book. It's not here. It's over in my vestry. And I don't know if you're familiar with some of my channel content, but every Wednesday I drop a 1 minute or less video, and those I call gems. And it's taken from a book published in the mid 1800s called Gems from Swedenborg.
Okay.
And it takes, massive passages, and it says the Trinity, and it gives you a simplified explanation. And it's got 250 entries. I took that entire book, and this is going back 4 years when my treasurer, who's owns a tech company, and he said, Howard, I think you could try this ChatGPT. It might be helpful in generating content. So I took that entire book, and I took all the references and I grabbed them in modern English, not mid 1800s. I gave them all the passages, and I said, summarize this in 100 words or less. And it was a 1 year project to get all 250 entries done.
Wow.
And I now take that same
and you
material.
did that purposely to teach ChatGPT how to think?
I did not. I did not.
No, you want to do it for other reasons. Okay.
I really did it because I thought it would be great to update, and I could maybe at some point use that. I didn't even think about doing videos at this point. I was just like, oh, this whole large language model thing, this will be interesting. Let's see what it can do. And I started to become very pleased with the results. So I now have a modernized Gems of Swedenborg. But the reality is it has all of that. And when I started writing scripts using ChatGPT, which I started using them to write scripts, I guess probably 2 years ago, it didn't know anything. And now it knows. Now it knows more.
Yes.
But I will say and this is just a general, and I use three AIs. I use New Christian Bible Study, and I use Gemini, and I use ChatGPT.
Okay.
They're all really good at structuring something. New Christian Bible Study is very good at specific passages. 95% accurate. I check everything. So I'll even say New Christian Bible Study is still only 90 or 95% accurate when they give me a passage and say, this is what that says. Gemini is probably at 70, 75% accurate. Oh yeah, use this passage. Okay, that's not a passage. It doesn't even touch on the subject. And ChatGPT is a little bit behind that. I'd say it's in the 65% accuracy. But that's 100 times better than it was just a year and a half ago.
Yeah, there are a lot of good tools. If I have Roz has kindly, we do a lot of writing grants and begging people for donations. But it's good because one thing we spend money on at Deborah's Tree is Adobe products, which help you video edit, do all the Photoshop, but they also have visual AI access through Firefly if you get the Creative Cloud subscription, which is like $700 at least. But it lets you just put your prompt through all these different AIs that have signed up to partner with Adobe. And so you can put it through Gemini, you can put it through Firefly, which is Adobe's one. You can put it through, there's like Flux and Chat GPT and like a few other versions of them. And there's like different versions. So like there's Chat GPT 1.5, Chat GPT 1.0, and you can put your prompts for images creation, and also from Adobe will let you make 8 seconds of a video. I'm trying to think. I made a video to thank some people. Where did I put it? It was a subset of our donors. And I was able to use this little thing to just make 8-second pieces of animations, and it lets you pick the starting frame and the ending frame. So what I did, I was generating with a still AI, right? Like the still photo generation AI, the starting frame and the ending frame. And then I would write a prompt saying what was supposed to happen in the middle to get from the starting frame to the ending frame. And it would give me a little thing. Maybe I can pull it up so that I can just show you guys a teeny weeny part of it. So we're trying to, that's not good. Come on.
While you're doing that, Lisa, I'll just note that as you were explaining, giving it to multiple AIs at the same time, now I'm imagining all those AIs getting together in a chat like we are now and talking about how to better serve us.
Yeah, I mean, somebody made them a social media, so now they can like take over the world, but I'm just going to ignore it because what can you do? So YouTube, let's see our videos on the Deborah's Tree website. I just want to find this one and show it to you for training purposes because it's one of our, like, I guess, private ones.
It's a private one, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's for the people who donated a specific thing. And where did it go? Roz and the other contributors, we've solved the content problem, and maybe this would help you. Is Roz has a lot of women friends, and they upload their own little things, and I'm uploading content, and Roz is uploading, and then we have like 4 or 5 sometimes contributors, and they upload theirs, and together, like, that would be one way. If you're driving yourself, if you're driving yourself off the wall trying to make enough content as an individual to fill up a whole channel, I would definitely think that it might be worth trying to see if some of you can combine forces and make one channel.
Yeah.
I know I put this somewhere, and
Howard, that's fine, mate. If you've got to disappear, just
okay.
disappear when you need to.
That's it. Is interesting, Lisa. I have thought about that. I mean, there's I mean, from a branding perspective, you want people to get what they expect.
Yes.
At the same time, I mean, I get bored and tired of listening to myself. You know, and I wonder if, you know, other people aren't. I mean, I know some people come back because they just love to listen to my voice, or they love looking at the lighthouse in the background, or whatever it is. But the idea of broadening the exposure would be good.
It could be an experiment, right? Like, there's no need to take down your own channel. You might just be like, hey, what if we had a second thing?
It is worth saying. I mean, this is part of the reason behind Curtis's talk he gave almost 2 years ago now. He does say people will get bored of you. What are they going to move on to? And part of the reason we have the network is that we want to be able to put new content and new creators in front of people so they stay engaged in the Swedenborg space, just with a new face. So, you know, I think there is value in the branding idea. It does mean it puts more pressure on an individual, myself on my channel, you, Howard, on yours. Lisa, you're more in the background really of yours rather than front of camera, but you know, but that branding idea I think is probably important, but then also being able to point people in other directions when they get fed up with you.
Here's an idea, just completely off the top of my head. No, I asked ChatGPT. No, I didn't. It's off my top of my head. We could have the Swedenborg accumulator channel. So whoever's participating, let's say we've got 6 channels participating. You know, each week or in some rotating schedule, we take the top performing video from one of our channels, and that's put out there.
Wow, that's an interesting idea.
And so that it could give, I don't know, it could be useful, it could not. I almost feel like it could be it could accomplish kind of what we're talking about, but without a lot of duplicate work.
Yeah. And there's the collaboration feature, so you can collaborate with that channel. I don't know whether you use that, Howard, but that, so you're actually creating a physical link between, this is a video that's come from this channel,
Yeah.
That's a really interesting idea.
That's the collaborator is something that I'm only aware of. I haven't played around with yet. But
we've done it a few times. It's reasonably straightforward to do.
Cool. Great, something new to learn.
Yeah. I think it's a good way. It's a good way. I can see, like, if you're like, no, I'm already overwhelmed making content for my channel, I can't do it for another person. I can understand that feeling too. I think with Deborah's tree situation is we have people who either don't have their own channels or they don't maybe they have them but they're not monetized. Who here is monetized? No. Okay. Us neither.
No.
I didn't know if the policies were different in Australia, but I think you have to be quite a big channel in America to be monetized at this point.
I like not being monetized because it allows me to use music.
Yes.
A lot of the, I'll get a lot of pings that said, "Oh, that's somebody's claimed that music," but they'll let you use it.
Yeah, I love making Suno music because it's free. But my problem is I get I could show you that at least.
So Howard, what's your watch hours like? Because you've got the subscriber numbers. I mean, I've got the subscriber numbers too, but it's the watch hours that I don't have the watch hours for monetization.
Oh, I think I looked at it. I currently have 187, but I looked at it around the time that I had that really popping video. And I might have had the proper watch hour. I might have had acceptable watch hours for a month.
Okay. Yeah.
But that, that video is still chugging away. I think I'm over 13,000 views on that video.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Jack, your question, mate?
Well, one of the reasons I'm not visible yet on YouTube entirely is because I decided to do an AI course before getting off the ground, apart from the fact I'm really busy doing other things. But one of the things I discovered, which you might find really useful, is a site called fal.ai.
Okay.
FAL.ai. And what it is it's a platform that's got loads of different AI software on it, and each of them do different things, and some of them do it really well. And what you do is you just maybe load up, say £10, $10 onto the site, and then you can buy individual packages with that $10. So it's well worth having a wee look at. Fal AI, yeah. Okay,
cool, interesting.
So it's got loads of different. You don't have to pay unless you're using the actual particular software.
Okay.
And it's very cheap to generate images and things. And you can take images and make videos in another application out your image. So it'll turn your image into a video. There's all sorts of things you can do.
Okay.
So it's a useful one to look at, I think.
Okay, thanks, Jack.
But hoping to launch something quite soon, hopefully in YouTube.
Yeah, we'll look forward to it. So, Lisa, have you got your thing to share? Is that not ready to go?
I made a song. I don't know if you can hear it.
I can't hear anything at the moment.
Wait a minute.
If you do a screen share, it should automatically include the sound.
Let me see if I can find the screen share.
We're hearing something, but it's not very clear.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure this out. Media player, come on, share. That's ridiculous. It's
so if you're in Google Meet, go down to the screen share down the bottom. I've got 4 options: a Chrome tab, an app window, an entire screen, or a camera.
okay. I'm gonna I was just thinking that I could show you Suno while I'm here. Stop it. Except that it wants me to log in. Yeah, it won't let me share media player for some reason, and I'm not sure why not.
Okay.
It's not in the list of things that I should be able to share because they're open windows. You know what? I will probably have to. Oh, okay, because it's not a Microsoft tab. All right, entire screen. All right, fine. We can just see my entire screen. How about that? Share all audio outputs. Why won't it let me do that? Sure that. Okay, here we go. This.
Hey, looks like it's happening.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And now it's got a thing covering the button that I need to push. There we go. Play. Yeah, so I made this for our shared spirituality. We had a group of people who are making a book, or 7 books even, and they came and did a bunch of talk. And so I put the lyrics into the show, and I tried 15 different ways, and it came out with this.
In the quiet of the heart, there's a language without sound. Every breath a living symbol, every soul a holy ground. What we touch is more than matter. What we see is more than light. There's a deeper sense unfolding in the day and in the night. We are one, you and the heaven, many voices, single song. Love the fire within us, wisdom leading us along. Different paths, one eternal source, one truth we all can see. The divine dwells within us in our shared spirituality.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So yeah.
That's yeah, quite interesting, isn't it? Unbelievably catchy.
That's so fun. It's catchy, and you can make a song with the lyrics "Our shared spirituality," which is not a thing that you will find anywhere on the internet, and it's probably not gonna cause a copyright. So like they made a site eventually. Hey, all AI is trained on real music, so this should all be a copyright strike. But for the moment, you can subscribe to Suno. I subscribe to it because I pay $10 a month, and the easiest way to make stuff is to put in your lyrics and tell it what genre. Basically, this will work best if you have a mental list of genres, like if you know all the different sounds of music, so you can say, listen, I want a song with Australian chanting in it, or like make this sound like an Aboriginal whatever, but give it some rock undertones with a guitar. And I want these to be the lyrics, and you can make ChatGPT write the lyrics. So the only thing that I have to do is listen to the outputs, and that's the part that takes a lot of time. And you also have to listen with your limbic system, which won't work if you're tired. So do it when you first wake up. But you're just gonna listen, and then if you feel something, if you get a chill run up your spine, or a tingle, or you just feel joyful, you feel like, oh, that's catchy, then good. That is a good one. If you listen and you're like, this is doing nothing, that is slop. Don't put that on your video.
Okay.
That is how that is how I tell what Suno content to output and what not to.
Yeah, interesting.
But I'll make 15 different versions with the same lyrics, and some of them sound good, and some of them sound just bleh.
Yeah. So it strikes me, Lisa, we could probably do a session with you running us through Suno. I also wondered about a session looking at the Adobe suite that you're talking about. That would be kind of interesting to see. Adobe's something I just don't use. I mean, I've got into using Descript. I use the Mac, iMovie, and Keynote. That's kind of past though, unless I absolutely need to.
I could also probably take you through Pinnacle Studio, which is a low-end editor. But if you are a person starting out on a budget and you don't know how to edit, and you want to be able to do it, and you're going to make shorter videos, you could start with Pinnacle Studio. Often, because I started with it, it's easier for me to do some editing in there and then move those blocks over to Adobe, which has better processing for rendering. So sometimes I do it that way. It just is a symptom of the fact that I've been online doing this for a long time. So I could do those 3 things. And then there was one more question I was going to ask you, but it's unrelated to this. And if and probably not for the recording.
No, that's fair enough. We can deal with that. I'll turn the recording off. We can deal with it in a tick. Jack, is there anything kind of last minute you wanted to say, or any comments just before we sign off? And
no, I don't think so, David. Just it's been interesting to hear different points. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess my thing to finish off is just, as I mentioned, you know, I've been on such a roller coaster in the last couple of months. My process now looks very different from what it did in November. The videos I'm churning out look very different from what they did in November. B-roll is the big thing. I never used B-roll before. So, and Descript provides all of that kind of stuff. And the fact that the attempt to kind of thread them all together and tell a story through the B-roll is a whole other layer that I'd never even considered thinking about. The fact that it gives you opportunity to think about creatively in correspondences through that as well is an interesting challenge. But again, for me, the big thing is it increases the amount of time I need to spend on each video. So one of the things, as I said, I do now is a batch creation process. So a lot of time spent in scripting, a lot of time spent in post-production, but the recording, really, I can easily do 4 or 5 recordings in a day. Like it might take me a couple of hours at most to do 4 or 5 recordings. It's the time is in the, you know, the writing and the post-production. So, you know, if we're getting there.
Switch up your shirts between them so it doesn't look like you did them all the same day.
Look, I didn't even bother doing that, Lisa, I have to say. So if you watch the one that went out last week, and the next 3, I'm wearing the same shirt because I recorded it, you know, within half an hour of each other. So yeah,
I find that with my radio station, David, as well, because I'll probably have about 2,500 words all in. And I'll put it into sections and have about 10 songs in between.
Yeah.
And all the preparation is there, but the recording is very quick.
Yes.
It only takes me an hour to record the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's another long show. So it's pretty good.
Yeah. I must say, I did notice a number of years ago that the propensity for a number of creators always to be wearing exactly the same thing for every video. And I now appreciate why they do that.
Well, yeah, so you avoid continuity errors. Like if you're going to edit a video together, the worst thing is if you forgot and you changed your shirt, like you shot half of it and then you change your shirt to another half. And then when it's together, it looks like you're swapping shirts back and forth because it's silly. But if you're trying to give the illusion that you shot these in different months or on different days, then changing your clothes or, you know, your facial hair or I don't know, your hairstyle or whatever. I don't know what men change on themselves when they, you know, like, but I could put a ponytail on one side and then
it's like Kevin Costner and Robin Hood. One scene his hair's here, next minute it's here, and then it's back here.
Right?
Those are continuity errors. And on sets in Hollywood, they have people whose entire job is just to really look at these actors and make sure that isn't happening because it messes up the movie.
There you go. Anyway, so greater appreciation of all of that sort of stuff. So amazing. All right, look, thanks guys. What I'll do, I'll just end the recording and then we can
nice seeing all of you.
Chat.
You too.
And